What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to kdjTV. Thank you guys for checking out another video. It is time for another 10-minute mailbag. Every Monday, I, Kenny, take you, the viewers' questions that you leave in the comment section of every 10-minute mailbag video, and I answer them. We go through in as much depth as possible your questions to try to give you guys the answers you seek. Maybe it's for strategy, maybe it's for tips, maybe it's just for general opinions or thoughts on the game. Whatever it is, this is your place to leave those questions. This is your place to get them answered. As always, we have another collection of very great questions. You guys always make me think a little bit, so thank you guys so much ahead of time, in advance, for leaving those questions. But if you have a question, make sure you leave it down below. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff before you go. Let's get to those questions. Alright, ladies and germs, as is the usual, 10 minutes on the clock, we start it, and then we go into the questions. Ready? 3, 2, 1, begin. Our first question comes from down the line, my boy from Twitch. We talked about this live on Twitch, actually, so come check out Twitch, twitch.tv/kdjTV, but I wanted to answer it in this video as well. He asks, if you could bring just one element or game mode, or just one bit of content back that's been missing over the past 4 to 5 years, what would it be and why? So, I'm stupid and forgot to research what this thing I'm thinking of was called, but we all knew what we were talking about. In, like, MLB 2004, 2005, it was before it was called The Show, to my recollection. There was, like, an arcade game mode where you were in, like, this Fantasyland baseball stadium and you had to hit these targets and get all these bonuses and do it. Think of, like, if Challenge of the Week had a whole bunch of shit that you had to do. A whole bunch of weird stuff going on. I spent so much time playing that mode. For no reason. Like, there were no rewards back then. Like, there's no such thing as, like, MLB 05 online leaderboard for whatever game mode this was. But just think about adding a fun-style game mode. It's entirely offline. You don't have to, you know, have any specific cards to do it. They just give you the player to use. And all you're doing is trying to rack up the highest score possible. Maybe with the way that SDS does things now, it could become something where, you know, achieve this goal to get this card, or get this points to get this. You know, maybe it becomes an unlockable type of situation. But I had a lot of fun in that mode as, like, I don't know, 11-year-old me. Does that math even check out? However old I was. Excuse me. I was in 5th or 6th grade at the time. Probably 5th grade. That was fun. I enjoyed that. So bring that back, SDS. Ramon, I know you're listening. Down the line, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you always. Next up, from Frank Townsend. What do you think the theme for Set and Season 4 will be? Division races and playoffs? I actually think Set 5 is going to be division races and playoffs, because Set 4 ends August 31st, and Set 5 begins November 3rd. So, that would be right when the World Series wraps, and I think that's when we get a lot of postseason content. I think we're still going to get that live postseason content in Set 4, but I think Set 5 is going to be the chunk of it. So, that leaves Set 4 kind of open. I don't know what Set 4 could be. I think Set 4 could be something like, you know, technically it might be a little past due at that point, but second half heroes haven't had a lot of those cards. They could very well create a new type of set of cards like they did for Set 2 with Kaiju and Incognito. I think they go that route where they create some stuff again. But I do think, and I think we've all kind of noticed, there haven't been a lot of awards or, what are they called? Milestone cards. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. They've been kind of dropping them here and there, but I think with the end of the regular season coming at that point, awards cards would be pretty cool. Milestones will be hit, whether it be single season or maybe some career. I wouldn't be upset if they went that route, because that also opens up the possibility of us getting some of our favorite cards that we always like to get. MVP Mookie Betts, whatever, it might have been an MVP Cody Bellinger, milestone this, milestone that. I'd enjoy that, because a lot of the milestones that, I mean, outside of this, just Ellie De La Cruz, that is a nightmare for everybody to go against, which was a chase card, we really don't have, like, a ton of juicy, I say it a third time, milestone cards. We do have this Matt Cain that I have gotten, but that's, you know, only and Joe Musgrove. As I say that, they've started to give us better milestone cards. But I think you guys know what I'm getting at. I'd love more milestones, awards cards, or if they want to be creative and come up with some new stuff, as long as it's not as stupid as Incognito. Frank, thank you for your question. I could very well be wrong, by the way. They could go right into playoffs for Set 4, but I think they're going to do Set 5 playoffs, Set 6 finest, and that's going to be that. All right, next up, Benny in the Booth podcast. Go follow Benny in the Booth podcast. Do you think moments should all be set to rookie unless it's moments extreme? Especially Tops Now moments that tend to be the most rage-inducing outside of moments extreme. This is a very interesting question, and I've had thoughts on this for a while. I think there should be a sliding scale for difficulties on moments. Let's take Tops Now, for example. With the way Tops Now is currently constructed, they will randomly pick if a mission is rookie or veteran based upon who knows what. But every single one of those missions earns you the same amount of points. I think when you enter a moment, you should be able to choose if you want to do it on rookie, veteran, all-star, Hall of Fame, or legend. And the amount of points you get is reflective of the difficulty you completed on. Theoretically, that means you could do 2 moments, or maybe 3 moments, and be done with the entire new segment of Tops Now. I think that's fine. If you're good at the game, you shouldn't have to do all the shit. You should be able to do it in a more efficient, more skill-based manner. So that's my opinion. So to that end, that does kind of mean, yes, you should be able to set them to all rookie. But at the same time, you could put them on legend. That's also a great way to practice, guys, because moments are meaningless, other than achieving program points. You want to go try to hit a home run and a double in the same game on legend? Go for it. If you're not a legend player, give it a fucking try. You never know what's going to happen. I think that's the best way to do it. I also hope, I don't think, I hope, we're reaching the end of moments grinding as we know it. Moments, conceptually, are very interesting. The only time they've ever worked, in my opinion, is in the storylines mode this year, because it helped illustrate and tell the story and move the story along. Moments, how they're given us now, are literally just a mindless grind. There is no point to them. You don't learn anything. Nothing happens. You're not even immersed in the situation in which you're put in. It's a mindless grind. So I hope, because we've been at this moments situation for years now, let's find a new way to do stuff. Let's move past it. But Benny in the Booth, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for your question. And we're moving on. NYC. FTNM, I hope, means for the next mailbag, because if we've reached acronym status, we're in. But FTNM, for the next mailbag, how do you pitch effectively in all-star difficulty, currently getting slammed trying to climb the rankings? First things first, I recommend my Thursday series, How to Pitch with Blank. You learn how to pitch with all sorts of pitchers. If you are a fan of that already, thank you. If you're new to it, go check it out. But pitching on all-star difficulty, I'm sorry to tell you, is very, very difficult. It's harder to pitch there than it is anywhere else. All-Star is the pitch speed and the game difficulty that the most people are accustomed to, because that's what 99% of events are. It's what Battle Royale is. It's what a lot of people play Conquest on. So it just happens to be the pitch speed people are most comfortable playing. It's like, it's almost their pre-programmed pitch speed. So to that end, people are going to time pitches well. Games are going to be higher scoring on there. But it comes down to whether you can get outs in clutch situations. And so my recommendation is to make sure you're not falling into patterns. Make sure you are changing eye levels. High-low, out, in, corners, work opposites. I try my best to move the ball around the strike zone and out of the strike zone. It's important to throw balls, guys, on purpose. Not every pitch you throw has to be a strike in the zone. People are so horny to swing and willing to chase that they will hit balls below the zone into the ground. They will chase sliders away. If you have a short player at the plate, like J-Ram, throw a fastball above the strike zone. I promise you they will swing at it. There are ways, especially on All-Star, that you have to kind of get a little cheeky. It's not cheesy, it's not toxic, it's not fluky, it's just, you're pitching. It's hard to get outs. It's very difficult to just blow it by folks on All-Star. On Hall of Fame and Legend, you can do that. You can just throw a fastball down the dick, and you might be okay. On All-Star, that's not a good idea, whether you have outlier or not. I also recommend using pitchers with control. Like, good, solid control. Someone like a Matt Cain has excellent control. Professor Greg Maddux has excellent control. Clayton Kershaw has very good control. Because to some degree, speed doesn't matter. Pitch velocity doesn't matter. All-Star is everybody's queued up speed. I would sacrifice velocity to make sure my pitches go where I want them. You know, Randy Johnson's going to be effective everywhere. Use Randy Johnson. I don't think John Donaldson's excellent on All-Star. I really don't. I think he's certainly good and he's not fun, but I don't think he's a demon. I don't think you have to use John Donaldson. I think you should be using Matt Cain, Greg Maddux, Clayton Kershaw, the pitchers I said. When it comes to knowing when to go to the bullpen on All-Star, I would say almost as soon as your starting pitcher hits yellow energy, give him the heave-ho. Get him the hell out of there. Because PCIs get bigger, exit velocities go up when your pitcher is in yellow energy. Or, the other way to take your starting pitcher out is if your opponent starts to barrel the ball. Even if you're getting outs, if they're lineouts, if they're screaming grounders, you know, just read the room. If your opponent's starting to learn what you're doing and picking up on it, get the hell out, go to a new pitcher, try again. I hope that helps you. I'm sorry that was not a great answer, but I hope it helps. Guys, we got another 10-minute mailbag in the books. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel this week for all sorts of content. In tomorrow's podcast episode, we're going over the Extreme program. I finished the program. It was annoying, but also not as annoying, but still annoying. We'll talk about it in the podcast. On Wednesday, we got Whiteboard Wednesday. I will be ranking the extreme moments from easiest to hardest. So if you'd like to prioritize which ones you want to do, if you haven't started it yet, if you're having trouble, I will prioritize them for you, easiest to hardest. Thursday, we're going to do a How to Pitch with Matt Cain, because he's, I think, pretty nasty, actually. And then Friday, it's a God Squad video with whichever God Squad from the comments I choose. So if you guys have not yet commented your God Squads on last Friday's video, put them down there, and maybe if you're lucky, I'll play with your team. That's it, everybody. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I love you all. Comment down below. More questions to answer. And that is it. See you next time.